Hi Capricorn, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for June 20th through June 30th. I'm not going to be focusing specifically on any one thing in this reading. I did the extended love reads. I posted them a few days ago if you want to check those out, where in that reading I covered singles, partnered, and those of you in separation. So we're just going to go for general messages here for the end of June, and we'll do a lay of the land first. We'll lay some oracles, throw in a couple of tarots, and see what's going on for our Capricorn friends. We have grieve your losses, raise your vibration, and engage higher reason. Okay, so let's pull a clarifier for that. Let's start with these. Clarifying grieve your losses. Let's see what we have. So we do on the 20th or 21st, depending on where you live, you're going to have the sun going into Cancer in your 7th house of partnerships. So don't be surprised if you're feeling very focused on, safety and security of partnerships right now in this energy, in this Cancer season energy. And then we have the full moon, which is going to be in you, Cap. It's going to be in your 1st house, which is going to be happening like across the wheel there on the 24th. And that's just going to remind you that we can't ignore our commitments to the outside world. Not that you guys do, right? Because it is in you. So you can, this idea of taking care of responsibility, do what we have to do. But remember, attachments and love are ruled by Cancer. Because you have the sun in Cancer, in that 7th house of relationships, you might be very sort of tuned into that. How safe do I feel in this? Is this good for me? Am I doing the right thing here, right? And at the same time, achievements, rewards, and even punishments are ruled by your energy. And that's going to be happening, in your 1st house of self. So you may be focused on achievements and really bringing things to yourself because you may feel challenged by this idea of feeling safe and secure in relationship. It's this polarity that deals with the balance between like unconditional love and conditional love, and just saying, what's real, what's not. So Cancer encourages us to value safety and our base and our root of what we need in relationship for you, I'm saying, while the Capricorn energy in that 1st house with the moon is going to be pushing you to consider your sense of duty and responsibility to yourself and the rest of your life in relation to your relationships. Like, are you doing right by you, having to do with the connections that you're allowing in your life, So let's see what comes up. Okay, leave the Death reverse. Just pull one more. Pull a wisdom of the oracle for each of these, and then we'll read them. We do have Mercury finally coming out of retrograde. It's not going to be out of the post shadow until July 7th, but on the 22nd, you're going to start to feel the energy lighten up in your 6th house. Communication having to do with work, your mental processing about how you feel about being in something, just things having to do with your day-to-day. Things are going to start to lighten up is really what I want to say. And also, one very nice aspect that we're going to be experiencing as well on the 24th is this Saturn forming a sextile to Chiron. And this is going to be happening between the 2nd house of money that you make from the work that you do, and you recognizing things that matter to you, right? And your 4th house of home, safety, security. So I really like this energy for you because you're going to feel very confident, very competent about where it is that you are. You're going to feel good about what you're wanting for yourself and recognizing what matters to you. I just feel like then this is going to be a good thing. I like this particularly because it's going to help soften some of those rough edges of that Saturn-Uranus square that I've been talking about. Chiron is an asteroid that kind of sits between Saturn and Uranus, right? So Saturn is about restriction, delay, the past. Uranus is all about future surprises. Let's move it forward, right? Let's go. I don't want to deal with this anymore, right? So Chiron's kind of in the middle as this healing energy saying, all right, let's just process the past so that we can move forward in an even better way, and we could feel very grounded and rooted in what we as individuals, meaning you, Capricorn, because it's your second and fourth house, what you bring to the table in your life. And you feeling really confident about that without any drama. It's like no drama in it. It's just you recognizing where you show up in your own life for you. Where you might have been a little, I'm not going to say not knowing in this area, but maybe you haven't been able to cut things out that haven't been good for you, or say no to that thing that you need to say no to, whatever, however it manifested for you. So let's get into the cards here. We have grieve your losses, and this is about victim consciousness. So grieving your losses and recognizing any level of victim consciousness in your life. And this certainly might have been a thing where you're realizing you were part of something that did not have your best intention at heart. And you saying, all right, look, it was messed up that thing happened, but at the end of the day, I allowed myself to be in it. And you kind of owning that, and you being just like very sort of in the mental about that, focusing on the mind rather than your heart in order to take charge of your circumstances. And it's you recognizing it's a very realistic vibe I'm getting. It's like, all right, listen, that happened. I'm not going to sit around and whine about it anymore. I'm going to process. I'm not going to be flippant, right? You're not going to be able to be flippant any way in your actions right now, only because, particularly like now starting this time period, sort of through the fall and into the winter, starting on June 20th, we have Jupiter turning retrograde, and this is happening in your third house, also in Pisces. Also in your third house on the 25th, you're going to have Neptune and Pisces going retrograde. So remember that third house is all about communication. It's about planning. It's about, learning something new, taking a different approach, all modes of communication, anything like that. So there's going to be this slowing down, but this thing, whatever you feel slowing down, I just want to be very clear here. Whatever house we have this particular retrograde energy in is meant to protect us. It's meant to protect us, right? This could be a blessing in disguise in order to gain perspective, in order to look at something differently. Initially, your enthusiasm and your confidence might wane a little bit. You might experience like a crisis of faith or hope, and you may feel like luck is less overt during this period from around June 20th here, 21st, depending where you live, to October 18th. But it's only going to be retrograde in Pisces until actually July 28th. Then it's going to stay retrograde, but it's going to flip into Aquarius. But anyway, you're going to start to feel like the forward movement. I feel, even though it's going to be retrograde, Aquarius being ruled by Uranus, it's about new ideas are going to be popping, even though you may feel like kind of held back and being able to push something forward. But all of this is good, right? Because Jupiter is trying to help you not wind up being the victim of something that is not ultimately good for you. So if communication is really wonky right now, it's meant to protect you. Same thing goes for the energy with Neptune, right? I mean, this is a yearly station. First of all, it only happens once a year, but it's going to be laying like a confusing veil over anything having to do with third house, like all communication. So you might just sort of feel like, all right, I don't know, am I aligned with my dreams? I'm just not sure, so there could be some indecisiveness about where it is that you're going. But at the same time, you're going to be very receptive to things, very receptive. So I like this. There's a big slowing down to make sure that you're protected and doing whatever it is that you are setting your sights on, having to do with that third house. Third house is a big house, right? It is. It has to do with, again, siblings, any situation going on with your siblings and extended family, any situation going on with short distance travel, your neighborhood, learning something new, like a workshop, a webinar, anything like that, and all modes of communication. Also, signing on the dotted line. So if you're negotiating something, the third house energy is where you actually sign on the dotted line. So you might have some delays in any of these areas, right? But it's all for a reason. Now we have raise your vibration. And we have that being clarified by Wilder. I love it. So this is about, all right, Capricorn, think about what scares you. Think about what makes you feel uncomfortable and go in that direction. Go in that direction, right? So we have the death energy in reverse clarifying that. So you might be, right now, you might be unwilling to let either a person or a situation go. And that's the very thing that you may need to work towards. And this can create a lot of anxiety and obsessive thoughts for you. And as painful as it is, there's this need to be kind of accepting, I want to say, and understanding that something has reached that expiration date in your life, at least in the way that it was. And there's nothing that you personally can really do at this point but to accept the situation and just kind of look for the lesson in all of it, and allow the release, and be very loving and kind to yourself, and allow it. I always say, let it happen in layers. We're more like onions with legs than robots. And it's okay to feel kind of broken or upset about something for a while. That's okay. But you know deep down that this is exactly the very thing that you need to do. You need to go towards this thing that makes you feel uncomfortable. And for a lot of you with this death reverse, I'm getting that it's some situation or some person or something that you're just not wanting to let go of. And that's exactly what you need to do. Right? Engage the higher reason for this. And the reason that you're having a hard time letting go from something, it does seem like, letting go of something rather, is because of this feeling of a hole in your soul, you know? And I feel like a lot of you are just very much, not to rush forward here, but in this space of wanting to co-create, wanting to have that happiness, wanting to have that family, that deepening of commitment, that maturity. You want to be able to mature your bank account. You want to be able to have a mature relationship. You want to create a family. You want to create a legacy. This could also have to do with inheritance and sharing. And this could also be something that you're dealing with, sort of, and that would sort of be on the other end of the spectrum, guys. But I do want to say that I feel like a lot of you may be going through that because of the retrograde energies in the third house. So for those of you who may be dealing with some sort of inheritance situation, there's going to be this retrograde, this slowing down of this ability to move things forward when it comes to all dealings with siblings right now. So that's just something to keep in mind as well for some of you who might be resonating with it in that way. And I feel like the hole in your soul is really the culprit here. And that is something that you need to look at. What is the hole in the soul energy from? Do you feel the sense of where you're not accepted in something? Are you feeling like you're not good enough in something? Are you feeling rejected or dejected by something? Exactly what is it? Or is it just that sort of kind of nebulous missing, aching for something more that's stable and secure that you can create? So some of you may be feeling this in business. Some of you may be feeling it in relationship. Some of you may just simply be feeling it in your family, where you want to get along with your family members. You want to do this, right? But there's something that maybe hasn't been working out that you need to recognize as like the way it's just supposed to be right now. And you might need to love that family member from a distance. You might need to just accept the way things have rolled out. So it does seem like that, at least for the time being. You can't control something that you might want to control. So it's this idea of really like acceptance and release, and see what comes out on the other side of that. So let's see what we have going on here for our Capricorn friends. Okay. Seven of Pentacles, Five of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, King of Cups, Lover's energy. Okay. King of Swords, Knight of Swords. Okay, I have to pull more on that. So we have the Lover's energy coming into this. So, yeah, having a soul connection. This could have to do with a business partner, family member, an intimate partner. It doesn't really matter, but this is all about choice. Okay? So if this has to do with relationship, it's recognizing that if you guys are going to work at a relationship, everybody's got to show up with their big boy and their big girl pants on and make the decision to actually work at this together. You can't do it alone. And if you guys do it together, Archangel Raphael is going to bless you. right? Those of you who are in a space of being single, this is all about loving yourself first to release any blocks so that you can manifest the right relationship when the time is right, you know, which is really nice. If this is to do with career or money, this is again about choices. So one option may seem easier, but you have to look closer to make sure that it's the best thing for you in the long run. You don't want to make anything all about the money, but it does seem like because there's this other energy, you know, how well are you guys lining up with intention? And that's something that needs to be looked at here. So the situation right now is you're trying your damnedest to be patient, but man, are they making it difficult for you with the Five of Swords. I mean, Five of Swords is about recognizing that the way something is playing out is not ultimately what you want, and that's creating a tension, and it's creating this ongoing conflict that you're not going to be able to win because you are not in it alone, right? We have this Lover's energy. You're not in this alone here. So there's something happening with another energy that's putting you in this space of conflict. And really the best thing to do is to walk away with grace and deal with your anger and your disappointment, because you can't fix a situation. Even though I do feel like a lot of you have been like in this space of saying, oh, I'm going to be patient. I feel like there's potential here. I feel like it can work. I'm not going to give up. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. And it's like the energy of something always feels like a half a block away. And as you walk down that block, it still progresses to being a half a block away. And it's this constant feeling of, all right, I'm going to get there. I'm almost there. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, no, okay, not this time. Okay, I'm almost there. I'm not going to give up. But then there's this recognition. There's this recognition. Because this is Venus in Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. This is very focused now on the future. How are you feeling about where you are and what this situation can bring you in your future? Whether it's a job, where you're living, that relationship, whatever it is. Now we have the beautiful Ace of Pentacles as the crowning energy. This is very auspicious for every area of life. This is straight up about happiness and contentment and getting what you desire. This is money coming to you quickly, or you at least being shown how to achieve what it is that you want. This indicates a foundation of stability. Okay, this is very, very good, right? There's a forward movement energy. But it seems like what's necessary, though, is to settle some sort of conflict, either within yourself or with somebody else. You might feel unclear just because of the energies about how to do that. If I tell you, follow your heart, you might be like, well, I don't know if that's the right strategy, because then I need to be vulnerable, and I don't want them to see that, because then I'm going to feel like they're going to take advantage of me. But not speaking from your heart, initially, it's almost like the kind of thing, I'm almost feeling it's the kind of thing where you feel like you need to get something kind of off your chest. And that's going to be really hard for you just because of this retrograde, these two heavy retrogrades that we have in there. But we have the Knight of Swords in your position. So for you, this is, you need to expect the unexpected. You might be dealing with somebody who is just a very unpredictable energy. So things coming out of nowhere, right? They could be very unpredictable energy ahead of you, full of highs and lows, sudden truths popping out, underlying conflicts that you didn't realize were there coming out. Maybe you kind of suspected, but they weren't really being talked about, you know what I mean? Like you were vibing it. And this could be confusing for some of you, depending on what it could be relief, right? You're like, of course, I knew that was the deal. You know, thank you for actually saying it, that kind of thing. But you don't want to make any big decisions here. You want to wait for things to settle down. Because some of you might be dealing with this as a person, which is somebody who's a little messy. They come in, they create a lot of drama, they don't take any responsibility, you know. And it's just like, okay, you know. But it's sort of like, expect the unexpected, like a volatile kind of energy. And then we have the Hermit. So some of you may be going to a space, you know, if this has to do with a relationship, going it alone. This is a problem-solving energy because it's Virgo, right? So if you're alone, it's because whatever was going on up to this point hasn't been meant for you, and it's time for you to work on yourself. And you have to really think about your past experiences so mistakes aren't repeated in the future, right? And for those of you who are in a relationship and you're just dealing with a messy energy, it's time to, invest more energy to work to smooth over any issue that needs addressing if they're in it with you, going back to that Lover's energy, only if they're in it with you 100%. If this has to do with more like a career or money thing, it's time to step back and really look at what's not working, because you might feel like it's time to try something different. Maybe a new job, a different approach to a job that you're doing, something like that. But you're having a hard time balancing everything right now, right? Temperance is in your block position. So this is, and because the numerology linked to this is the Hierophant, some of you may be feeling very blocked when it comes to the idea of marriage, about your marriage, something to do with marriage, right? It could certainly be that. But there's some sort of imbalance that you're feeling, right? Whether you're feeling like some energy that you're dealing with is not cooperating with you. You might be having a hard time feeling balanced in a situation. You might feel like there's some sort of unfairness going on, either within a relationship, at home, maybe regarding finances, something like that. But you might feel like you're working really hard in something, like maybe harder than the other person. You just feel like you're putting a lot of work into something, and it's just not working, or it's certainly not going the way that you had intended anyway, So, and you might be feeling very challenged by that, in the stress of something. You could even be experiencing like the return of something from the past. It could just be an emotion or an old scar or some sort of familiar pain rising to the surface that ends up impacting you right now. It's like, the thing is, when we have this as a challenge, the temperance energy, this could bring up a lot of like difficult memories to deal with, where you're realizing you're kind of feeling stuck in a situation that you really don't want to feel stuck in, but you do anyway, right? And you can't really even explain it. It's hard for you to even explain, but you feel very inhibited in your ability to actually move forward in an effective way, in a way that you can. But there's something about this person or the situation that's sort of like keeping you back. But I feel like you're going to get into a space where you're going to be like, all right, you know what, look, I have to just go all logic. I have to stay calm. Calmness needs to be your superpower right now, right? No emotions, because someone's going to want to argue with you. Saturn and Leo. This is like battle of the wills. I want my way. No, I want my way. Kind of thing. Now, some of you, this could also resonate as problems in work in a very pragmatic way, like scheduling, salary, like they can't be a meeting of the minds. This could also have to do with issues having to do with signing any sort of documents. Could have anything to do with that as well. Frustrating energy. But you're not ready to give up. You still have fire in your belly for a situation. You're very tired, but you're going to have the perseverance to see it through. This is very temporary. You might be feeling a little defensive right now. That's okay. Stay balanced. Don't allow any sort of negative mindset to be perpetuated. Right? Because the Ten of Wands is next, and you don't want that. But things are going to go in your favor if you can manage to hold it together. We have the Page of Swords. I like this because this is some sort of useful information coming in, and you're getting help from people around you. But you recognize there's a new cycle here, and you're using your noggin here as well. This is like very kind of like relying on your intelligence and that air. Getting a lot of air energy here for you. High Priestess, yeah. You recognizing that your intuition is giving you messages that you really want to pay attention to. And the King of Wands, Cancer and Leo energy, okay? You just really want to be a free spirit right now. This, as an influence, this is saying it's an awesome time to just express your ideas and go after what you want. But you don't want to allow the idea of perfectionism, something needing to be perfect, of you needing to be perfect, or somebody else needing to be perfect. Now, this is the thing. You may feel very challenged in this way. Somebody saying that you're not enough in some way, or you're too much of something in another way. And that could be a very frustrating energy. And you showing up saying, you know what, there's nothing wrong with me. You need to go and look at yourself. It's not me. It's maybe how somebody else perceives you. But really, at the end of the day, it's probably their issue, not yours. Nothing wrong with you. We have the Knight of Wands. Fire up your ambition. Come on now. And this is things speeding up for you. Blocks being lifted. Decisions coming in. So anything that you've been waiting on moving forward. Yeah, Death card. Yep. Yeah, Capricorn, time to say goodbye so that you can have what it is that you want. Look, we have the death being clarified with the Ten of Pentacles. I mean, that's 100% what this is. This death card. If this has to do with a relationship has to be over. At least how it's been. Maybe you'll get back together later on. Who knows, right? Because this is a Pluto energy. Endings can bring transformation, but there's got to be an ending right now. There needs to be some breathing room. Friendships might be falling away. There could be a possible ending of some sort of business connection or avenue of money. Things might be tough initially, but this energy indicates that there's something new on the horizons for you. Now, for some of you, it could be a relationship, it could be a job. For others of you, you're going to be realizing that you're moving. Your living circumstances might be changing because you realize that where you're living, it just doesn't meet your overall needs anymore. So this could even manifest as somebody offering you something, maybe a job offer coming in, right? That incites some sort of new beginning for you, or somebody offering you something that ends up inciting a new beginning for you, that ends up bringing this new family, maturity, deepening of a commitment, being with a person or a situation that resonates with your values. This is very much a sharing, a maturing energy. It's very, very nice. This is really nice. Now, also for some of you, this could be like, all right, that inheritance thing, let's finally like wrap it up with the death energy. Let's end it so that we could just move forward and bring positive things in our lives. That could be that for you. Let's sell that business and let's go our own way. Let's stop doing business the way we were and focus more on growing our business. Let's stop just dating. Let's stop the relationship the way we've been doing it. And let's are we going to do this or are we not? Because what we've been doing up to this point, I don't want to do it. Do you want to get married? Because if you want to get married, I'm in it. Because this is a get married card. I'm building a family. But it's no more accepting that in between. So whatever has been, with whatever situation you might be resonating with this in, it's not going to stay like that because it can't stay like that. You're being pushed to change and transition something. So it does look like it's going to end up in your favor. I like the Ten of Pentacles as a final outcome. So it looks good, my friends. That is what I have for you for this week. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.